Alright. Hello,
Microphone muted.
ladies and gentlemen. Who are joined here today on watching some League of Legends. Now, on the first game between Team 3 and Team 4, it is quite an interesting one. As on the blue side, we see on the top lane Aurelia, in the jungle we see middle Ari, and the bottom lane of Severe and Morgana. Up against the top are Darius, jungle Pantheon, middle Orianna, and the bottom lane of Caitlyn and Thresh. So as we have approximately 1.5 minutes to go in, and since we're running a bit of technical difficulties where my casting partner is stuck in a game. 5 minutes, he said. The tops, he said. But here we are. But I suppose he'll just join me in when he can. And then we can get this started
Microphone activated.
properly. We are just doing some little adjustments while I have the time before the game starts. So it should be interesting to see on the blue side. They have a little bit of a late game comp, but so does the red team. So they both have. There we go. So, of course, on spectator mode, there's the 3-minute delay. So the players get to see themselves 3 minutes after they have won or lost. So no snoozing around, 6 off. Can't ghost. And my casting partner should appear momentarily. Well, he's an adult. He can find his way. So
User joined your channel.
there.
Yep, I'm in.
Alright, there we go. 5 minutes stops, he said.
Yeah. It went on a little longer than it should have, to be honest.
Well, I'm already in casting and streaming, so just join me on the spectate. It hasn't gone into the game itself yet.
Where are we still in the loading?
Yeah, it's in the champion audience screen at the moment.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, and we get into game, so I will
Is
just arrange.
Remit connected?
Huh?
Looking at these comms.
Yeah, they're quite interesting. Both going for some bits of late game. But I think the blue team will win them on that case.
Yeah, the blue team's got a lot of mobility. Got that strong team fight ability. You know, the Lee Sin would be able to get behind, pick some high priority targets. The Morgana ult will be absolutely atrocious. The Sivir ulti with the RE is an incredible mobility to just place yourself around the fight. Irelia can jump straight in. It appears to be
Okay, that's
DC heavy.
yeah, that's a little bit odd to see that almost all of Red Team has this seed for some reason, and no, I'm not seeing anything special. So the blue team pinging out their ultimate target.
They have their priority straight. The Nexus.
Yes. So,
A summoner has disconnected.
and there goes the last
A
one.
summoner has disconnected.
Okay,
A summoner has
I think they're all going to remake this game.
A summoner has disconnected.
okay, so let's us quit as well. Let's see. Yep. Okay, they just gone into game. But yeah, it's just a remake.
Were you just invited?
Yeah, but I was in game, so it went into hold.
Ah.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're gonna get to it anyway in a moment. So there's the 3-minute QA
User
again.
joined
Yo,
your
Greg.
channel.
Yep.
Yeah, did you have a delay on the stream?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, then it's fine.
Yeah,
Gus?
because if you have some things, you have to come and say it to me
Yeah,
in
yeah.
TeamSpeak.
Okay, thank you, man. I go play. You.
Go back.
User left your channel.
So that was 6 who is playing the Pantheon Jungle on side of the red team. So we got a little bit of an insight of his state of mind going into the game.
Yeah, I mean, looking from the matchups in this game, the top lane is going to be rather interesting. The Irelia versus Darius top lane fight, which should be in favour of the Irelia in terms of the later game.
Yeah, but Darius should have the upper hand in the early gameness. At least before Irelia finishes up that Trinity Force.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as she picks that up, it's a huge damage spike. The true damage that Irelia's W has, which would stack incredibly well against a Darius who likes to build a lot of health, a lot of armor, and tends to be this more kind of presence related character in team fights. Who's there because he can do some good AoE damage if he decides to pick up a Sunfire Cave, maybe a Ravenous Hydra. His Q's always there. He's also very scary for an AD carry if he manages to pull an enemy into his range, because as soon as he ultis, that could be half of someone's health down, and that could be really fatal in a team fight.
And both teams are heavily based on that team fighting abilities, with Morgana can lock up the whole team, and then you have the Lee Sin and the Ahri to go for a single targets in those team fights. And the red teams seems to have they're more focused on that overall team fighting, that they don't try not to go for much on the single targets as much as the blue team. And we're getting into the loading screen finally. Only the second time. This feels like a real LCS game. What wouldn't the tournament be with a little bit of technical difficulties? It would be interesting to see how the laning phase would go, and we're getting into game at last. There we go, teams are in the right place. Well, I know we're in game, but we're waiting for game to start, as this is all a ruse. And there we go. Now the game has started.
Right.
The champions have loaded themselves into the game. Also interesting to see if any of the team goes for any level 1 strategies. As would appear that the red team is going for a little group, while blue side is going for that total spread on their own jungle.
Yeah, the blue team seems to know it's positioning itself a little safer, while they could do a 3-man push top. Red team seems to be doing the same on bot side. Although top is not as well defended as bot lane is for blue team,
No.
since they've dedicated 4 people on red team.
Now they got that early warding, so they know that Sivir is in the bottom side of the jungle, so no lane swapping there. But seems to be just an ordinary protection from both junglers, both starting at the blue buff. Darius is actually going a little bit inwards, but not too much deep. See if he can sniff something out. Maybe the smell of a golem being taken, possibly.
Yeah, he's got that ward near the entrance to red buff jungle, so he's just covering the other entrance at the try. He seems to not really have too much cares about where these blue team players are positioned, but this seems to be a fairly standard start to any League of Legends game. But I would like to see that this game becomes a little more of a team fight positioning game, because this Sivir and Ari, they have a lot of potential to position in this fight, which would be crucial against a Darius and this Orianna role, which is so potent in the late game. So I would like to see how it really turns out in the team fight stages.
And there is the very power of Darius actually taking Aria almost to half health with a bleed. So she's going to have to farm a little bit safer on times being. Actually falling a few CS behind, but nothing too serious at this point of the game, as there is a small minion wave for her to pick up.
Just to see how this bot lane will go, because they both have quite large lockup potential. Well, that Thresh is going to have quite the struggle to hit the Sivir, with the fact that Sivir has a spell shield and also the Morgana shield. So I feel like this Thresh is going to have a hard time bot lane. So it's mostly down to this Caitlyn to be able to dish out some damage with her nice range, and just maybe be able to hold out this lane, get some good CS. Caitlyn's always been quite strong in the team fight because of her naturally long range.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually interesting to pick up to see, as the Morgana was the first pick for the blue team, so Thresh was picked into that count, so it's interesting to see if he thinks that he can be that good on Thresh.
Well, it's all down to maybe the shield bait. They can maybe get out onto another champion, and then Thresh might be able to find this really nice pick. But we'll have to see, because I'm quite curious to how Dragon Control is going to go as well, since this Irelia does have TP and the Darius does not.
Oh, and actually on the top lane, Darius actually goes in, gets a ignite onto Irelia, but Irelia gets a shield from the Lee Sin, and Lee Sin comes in for the gank onto Darius and gets the first blood onto Darius. Well executed. Well, being on the right place at the right time.
Very nice. He just picked up the upgraded jungler item, which is quite interesting because his red buff is still up. It seems like he didn't take his red buff and decided to recall early and pick up his jungle item as soon as possible, and prevented the Irelia from maybe dying at that point from the ignite and bleed, and then doing using the jungle item, the perfect smite, and oh my god, the Thresh Pantheon jumping, but the spell shield might keep this Sivir alive. And it does.
Oh, and there comes the heal and the flash to save him alive. And there was exactly that what we you spoke about. The press shield bait ganking. It's so effective against a team that is has pushed up their lane against the turret.
Yeah, but I have to say that Morgana shield was on point. It stopped Thresh Flay and actually stopped the hook from dragging the Sivir back, which helped exponentially. I mean, and then the Sivir also, I think, did a pretty clutch spell shield herself. She just managed to get her out with a flash and a heal. But that Pantheon Thresh gank was very effective. Sivir maybe pushed up a bit more than she would have liked to have been.
Indeed, it is hard to ward up against when you're pushed up to that turret. You actually have to go into the enemy jungle and get that early ward onto that dry bush on the side of the red team. But we do see actually on between the early carries that Sivir has picked up 11 CS lead over Caitlyn. And actually press it's a dark binding, but the shield blocks some of the damage, so it's no biggie, no biggie.
This Sivir has done a very good job at avoiding all Caitlyn poke and dishing out her own with her boomerang, and I think well-placed ricochets.
Oh, and actually there comes the shockwave from Orianna, gets the kill with the help of the Pantheon, actually coming in for a gank. Well, on point on shockwave.
Yeah, I don't think the Ahri was level 6 at that point, which was a perfect time to gank.
No, that was absolutely perfect. And we see actually coming down bottom to see if they can push the turret, but Thresh just eats a dark binding and Sivir picks up the kill. Morgana almost going down to the turret damage, and actually Lee Sin jumping in with the resonating strike onto Caitlyn, but Caitlyn just flashing away from that damage and actually using that heal as well to get away.
Darius appears to be roaming down. They might be looking to do a drag. Oh no, the Darius goes back up, decides it's not a good idea. No. Just picks up the crab. But maybe that's a sign of what we were saying earlier, that the this Irelia will start ramping up and beating this Darius in lane. Darius has maybe had to just wanted to get that crab just in for the extra gold, and to just give a nice 50 gold without, you know, it hitting back.
And actually Irelia going in and dashing with this ulti, almost taking down Darius. Well, not so. Actually, that would have been close, as Darius does not have that flash up at the moment. And that grab also brings up some great vision for the mid laner and the top laner to see if Lee Sin decides to go either way from his own jungle.
This Irelia is in a very strong position right now. Her teleport's about to be up in about 20 seconds. This Darius is very low. He doesn't want to be able to back off to give this Irelia maybe a free tower, so he's having to stick around, having to stay on low health, which might prove fatal.
Yeah, Darius decided to go with a knife instead of the TP, and actually Caitlyn needs a dark binding, but manages to 90 caliber let away from harm's way. But that lockdown is pretty huge for the bottom laner. As I said, that Caitlyn gets picked up by another dark binding and the boomerang blade.
This Morgana has landed every single dark binding that she has needed to land, and it has been the one of the main reasons that they've won lane. Although I must say, the Sivir has played very well. Landed a lot of boomerangs, ricochet when she needs to ricochet, and it's proven it's to win the lane. I mean, done very effectively. She's built up a nice CS lead, 31 at this point, 32 now.
Yeah,
I mean, the end game's looking very good.
Indeed, it's hard to deny that things are looking good for the blue team. But it's interesting to see what will happen once we get those team fights going. And actually, Lee Sin ganking onto the top laner, actually on the Pantheon actually, is managing to do up, but Darius comes in with the flash and gets the swipe kill.
Lee Sin maybe being a little greedy there. Pantheon did stay in. Decided not to try and escape, not to try and flash out. He held on. He had faith that he wouldn't die and the Darius would save him. And it had proven to be well-placed faith.
And also a great timing as the Aurelia was actually backed off. But we now see him ganking coming from bot lane onto the middle. Orianna's in big trouble. Misses the shockwave, but there's the ignite. And Sivir is just gonna clean it up.
That's what I was talking about earlier. The mobility to avoid this Orianna ultimate is insane on this team comp. They have the Morgana shield to maybe save someone's life from it. Sivir ulti to position the whole team away from it, and then the Ahri can just protect herself. So this Orianna's going to have a hard time finding a real strong place to actually ultimate. And if she does find that though, it'd be very good for the team. Clumps everyone together, so Darius can pull everyone in, and it would put them in a very strong situation. So a lot of this is down on the Orianna, you know, having well-placed ultimates.
Oh, and actually do coming up between the top laners are really going in, trying to see if the ulti is enough damage, but the Luxian Killiatin and the bleed were enough to overcome that. Surprising to see actually. And Pantheon now getting in the middle lane with the charm.
Irelia play looked like very simple. Insect over there. But Irelia looked like she was just looking down on the Darius. Didn't really respect his damage, and it proved to be fatal.
Oh, and actually Irelia teleporting back to top lane, trying to see if he can go for round 2, and then matches up, evens up the kills. And we see, getting hooked in the middle lane by Crest, there goes the spear from Pantheon, but not doing much damage thanks to the black shield.
Ari gets a nice lot of health back thanks to a passive. And it looks like Red Team is trying to set up for a dragon, but the Orianna gets jumped, and that is the kill thanks to a Lee Sin jump.
Ari going in, missing the charm, but Lee Sin flashing and getting the kill onto Ari, and then actually picking up a double kill in the mid lane.
This Lee Sin must be either a genius or damn lucky. He has been in very nice places when he needs to be, and it's proven to just. I mean, there's a reason he's got this 3-1 kills. His positioning just seems to be very effective. He may have gone a little ham on the Pantheon earlier, but as it stands, he's been in the right place to get kills, and now, thanks to that, they've managed to pick up a dragon.
Yeah, I think the main reason for him to having 3 kills is the fact that he has picked up 3 kills.
Thank you, Grang, for clearing that up.
I think it's the most important reason. And round 3 actually on the duel in the top lane. Not going much, but if the directly camera would just move to mid lane, as we saw Pantheon was ulting in, trying to fly in to see if he can create some chaos. And actually Orianna shockwave here on the Morgana, and there's the basic attack coming from, hitting the passive basic attack that are so strong coming from Orianna.
Morgana seemed to have overstayed her welcome. Sivir did blow her ultimate after the Pantheon started ulting in.
Yeah.
Ari didn't have our ulti either. There wasn't really much blue team could have done to save the Morgana. All they could have really done was thrown back some damage to try and scare him off. But this Orianna has, even though she's had a bit of a struggle in the lane, she's pulling it back.
We're slowly getting to that team fighting phase of the game, but there is still some bit to go. So 4,000 gold lead for the blue team. 1-0 turrets and over by 2 kills.
I have to say, even though Red Team is behind, you have to commend their immense warding all over the map. They have all over Dragon. Sadly, Blue Team did get the Dragon, but the warding is very effective at this point. And I love the the pink ward near the red buff on red side.
Oh, and actually round 4 coming up on the top lane. Almost going down to Lee Sin. And actually Lee Sin, finding Pantheon in his own jungle, has to Dragon's Rage Pantheon away. And actually trying to see if he can land a Q to go back in for the Pantheon. Very, very bossy for a blind guy. And meanwhile, the red team bottom lane is taking that frog, but actually Morgana steals it with the Tormented Soil.
That is some ultimate BM if I've ever seen any.
As you
Oh,
should.
the Pantheon ulti from behind?
Yeah, there comes the Morgana. The Showsuckers are hitting onto the Pantheon. Gets rooted up. Feel that the blue side could turn it around, killing the Pantheon and still getting away.
It was very good plays from both teams there. The Pantheon brilliantly waited out for the Morgana shield to wear out so he could stun the Sivir. The Sivir had almost killed the Thresh whilst the Pantheon was trying to get into range. But at the end of the day, 2 people came out of that, 1 from either team, very low.
Morgana eating that command something.
Attack.
Yes, command attack and the W taking a lot of damage on the Morgana. Right after you were late. And you see Darius is clearing some pink wards in the side of the red team's jungle. So we see a little bit of roam from the bottom laners, trying to see if they can push down the turret on mid lane, getting some nice damage, but it's not going down. Pantheon is there to cover Orianna's ass.
This is the beginning of the team fight stage that we've been talking about for so long, and we've been waiting for a while now. Everyone's grouping. So far we've only had skirmishes, but this is actually a 5-man grouping for blue team. Darius is still top. He decided to start coming down. It looks like it's going to be a siege, although I do think red team should be able to hold the tower as long as none of them get hit by any pesky Morgana Qs.
Yeah, and actually there's a wave pushing on the bottom side. Sivers is having to go rear up that gold, and looks like T5 has to wait for at least another 2 minutes. It's also interesting to see if these team fights will be worthy of the hype that we've been giving them. It would be
Well, I should hope so.
Let's just hope that it won't be another Amazing Spider-Man 2.
This is true. I'm also quite amazed that blue team has managed to start racking up quite the lead in gold. They've got about 4.8 gold lead right now, and this has all just come from very passive plays, but they've been very effective.
Yes, Caitlyn is down almost 60 CS to the Severe, who has 3 kills over her. And also on the same figures, 30 CS behind Darius. But then on the blue side, Ari is behind Orianna, but only by 14 CS.
In the support, this is where the main gold lead is. Support, this Morgana has a 6 minion gold lead, which is massive in this
Massive. In support code, that is massive. If you were speaking of AD money, that wouldn't be so much. But now the blue side is preparing for Dragon, who is just now spawning. They're clearing up the wards. But one sticky ward actually manages to pass by the sweeper. But the red
He does have the river hamster as well.
But the blue team is deciding to go on with the dragon. Red team is not contesting as the Pantheon was not there. And Darius either, so it will have been at best a 4v5. So they're down 2 dragons. And actually Lee Sin standing over a ward, a shockwave. The stun hits, but he manages to flash away from the initial movement. So that's a shockwave down for the red team. So this should be a pickup of that middle lane turret.
They've also managed to pick up a blue buff there. saved the Lee Sin's life with a very nice body block spell shield. But thanks to the Orianna using her ultimate to try and kill this Lee Sin, who obviously managed to escape, they were able to take the tower. There was no longer any threat from this Orianna. They just cleared it up, and it looks like they're about to take a second one.
Yeah, perfect timing as Darius was recoiling out from top lane. They can't get it. Actually, tries to land in a hook onto Lee Sin, but Lee Sin gets black shielded by the Morgana, and now the blue team is on the retreat. And on the same time, Aurelia is pushing the top lane, so they have to send... They don't send one, they send two men trying to go for it. Actually, Pantheon is just scoring up the red buff. And Darius is going to see if we can get a round 5. And no, we can't.
These top laners have been in their own little world, pushing top as much as they can, coming down, and then fights have already happened by the time they've come down. So they just walk back up again, and it keeps repeating. Although that isn't entirely their fault.
Morgana taking another big chunk of her health away. Why that Orianna ball?
Orianna does have about 550 mana stacks on that. Be a very huge spike if she picks up the Archangel staff, which should be definite. I mean, she's already got a Rabadon's, so this Orianna's gonna ramp up again.
Oh, and there we go. With a bit missed damage coming from the blue side team as the blue buff is left with 15 health after the Ari Q. But she picks it up with the charm.
Sivir is sitting on 1,600 gold. So I'm curious to see what she builds. You know, some people like the static shiv, some people like the Phantom Dancer. Doesn't seem to back. Maybe they're waiting for a fight, or she just doesn't want to miss NCS. But hopefully she will be able to spend that fairly recently.
And actually, Morgana coming in to see if they can lock somebody up. Thresh gets locked up, and Sivir is gonna pick up that kill. And meanwhile, in the middle lane, Ari is going deep onto the Orianna, but it's a shockwave. There's a double ignite coming from, and they will both just straight kills.
I love this Sivir Morgana combo. You know, most people usually try and get away from the Morgana, you know, a flash or a dash or a jump, just to get out of this Morgana's Soul Shackle range. But with the Sivir, you can't do that. You're going to be in for this AoE stun afterwards as well, which is really brutal. It's like their own version of Orianna ulti, really.
See, they're now pushing up that bottom turret. And they managed to scout out Lee Sin, who is taking their frog. What shall we call the frog today? Samuel sounds good. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Samuel the frog.
Like that.
We see
By the way, Grank, your the title of your stream is ARAM stream, Smoke and Mirrors.
Ah, fucking hell. Okay, you gotta do some. You gotta do some. You gotta do the casting in the meantime. I see some damage.
There's been a lot of this game where this Morgana has not been above 50% health. Stayed around, got chunked down by this Orianna, who has a lot of respectable damage. Red team is still in this, despite the about 5.7k gold lead. So they seem both quite happy to avoid team fights so far, and they're just looking to get picks. But hopefully Red team will try and contest this next dragon, maybe, which is coming up in 50 seconds. And then we might be able to see a fight there.
Alright, then I'm getting back into the game as also. So 3 turrets for the blue team. There are the turrets obviously, and only 1 for the red team as they're trying to see if they can push down the top lane. But I realize they're ready to respond. what's important to see is that Aurelia has that Trinity Force. Actually tried to see if he can get the round 5 against Darius, but Pantheon comes in for the gank. There comes the wipe that pulls him in. The Noxian Guillotine coming in. Is it gonna be enough? No, it's not, and Lee Sin picks up the kill.
I would like to dedicate that small win in the skirmish to Irelia's passive. You know, the tenacity it gives is incredible. I mean, she would have gotten a good 25% tenacity out there, which did take her out of the stun a lot quicker than it should have. I mean, it also stopped the Darius slow and allowed this Lee Sin to be able to go in and then they could do a re-engage.
Oh, and actually Pantheon holding onto the Dragon Speed, but they misdoing the Dragon, actually managing to steal, and now they're falling to the blue team.
They've very well done by the Civ. The positioning was immaculate. She managed to back off the Pantheon. As soon as the Morgana ulti, she felt a lot safer. She saw this Caitlyn ult come in. She decided to flash and forcefully use Morgana as a little meat shield. But thanks to that, she managed to stay alive, and then Morgana ult procced, and they could just clean that team fight up really well.
Actually, Caitlyn getting sniped out in her own jungle by the Aurelia, coming in for the kill secure at the last moment. So as we see, 100 CS behind Caitlyn from Severe. And that's it, you can tell as she hasn't gotten any items built. And actually Orianna scouting out the Ahri in their jungle trying to recall, but actually manages to pick up with the shockwave and the ignite. And Ahri caught sweeping there.
Busy dancing to her own music.
Yeah, it is kinda mesmerizing, the K-pop sensation.
Right, does Louis K-pop? Orianna? Not so much.
No, I don't think so.
So we're getting a nice double buff. It's always nice to have on an AD carry.
Oh yes. But what's even better is for them to have them on a support as well.
Looks like Caitlyn is going to fall.
Yeah, another victim actually netting the wrong way in. Just trying to see if she could get near the Dragon Speed to flash over the wall.
Red team seems to have gotten themselves a tower just by a nice small grouping, and were able to hit the tower whilst there's no one to defend it. AD carrying support bomb, Ahri had recalled, Lee Sin wasn't able to do much. They all seem to be rotating to the top lane. This Irelia might be in a difficult spot right now.
Yeah, Pantheon coming in, gets this jump on, but actually Aurelia is turning it and he's gonna pick up the kill onto Pantheon. But the rest of the red team is closing in on her. Since this is true, if this is gonna be a great escape. And I highly doubt it, as she's just gonna get down. Oh, he flashes over the wall, but Darius whips him back into the fight at the last moment.
Very well played by the Irelia. Even though she did die, she managed to stall this out. The rest of the team is able to pick up a base turret and most likely an inhibitor right now. The Pantheon seems to have jumped in a little too early. His team wasn't able to back him up. The Irelia's 1v1 capabilities after she gets that Triforce is to be... Oh,
well, they correct the shockwave onto Morgana and gets him finished off by the basic attack and a wild grace hooks actually missing. But they managed to push down that inhibitor. But in the meantime, Darius is putting down that turret. That's the last auto turret for the red team.
Blue team is now under a little bit under 10k gold lead, but as you see, red team is still in this. They've still managed to get some nice kills, thanks to Orianna, thanks to Darius. The Caitlyn and the Thresh, you know, they're struggling to get in, to stay in this game. Like I said, like we said actually, the Thresh will have a very hard time picking people out. The enemy team has a lot of mobility, Morgana spell shield. Irelia's got a lot of tenacity. The only person, actually they don't have any, Thresh doesn't have anyone who would be an easy target in this situation. Like, you know, Ahri's got her ultimate, Shiva has an ultimate and spell shield, Morgana's got spell shield. Irelia has a natural high amount of tenacity, so that
Oh.
the hooks and the flays will not last long at all.
And Morgana showing her style a little bit. It's showing off her sonniness for her allies. This is how good I can get. And actually Aurelia pushing in again on the top lane, but it's managing to turn around damage on both the Orianna and the Pantheon. And now she's got back up with the help of Lee Sin. They're actually trying to see if they can go for Orianna. There goes the slow, and that's a shutdown kill for Aurelia.
There's a very good rotation taught by blue team. Seeing that the AD carrying the support of bot lane, trying to get the farm, because this Caitlyn is 100 CS behind the Sivir, and managed to pick off Darius with a well-placed dark binding there.
Yeah, there's another dark binding that does not miss the target. I don't think we've seen one that hasn't hit anything.
This Morgana's been on point with everyone.
Oh, and there,
Apart from that one.
as I said it, there comes the first one. And thanks to the Stanius being down, she can't survive the third damage.
I feel like these players in this game are just trying to spite us. We were saying about how the Thresh couldn't pick anyone, and there he does.
Yes, finally. But in the meantime, the blue team is managing to get another inhibitor, this time from the top lane. They only have one. Actually, Ori got a little bit in an awkward place in the enemy base, trying to see if he has to spirit rush over the wall. But there comes Thresh, trying to flash over the wall, trying to see a hook. But the hook lands, but there's exhaust onto Aurelia. But is there enough damage? No, actually there is from the Orianna. And now Pantheon is jumping in, trying to see if they can cut off. But that ultimate is way too late. And actually it's a charm. And Lee Sin is there to manage to clean up the kill. And there's a Dragon's Rage actually stunning both Thresh and Orianna. And Ahri picking up the kill with Orb Deception.
That was a textbook definition of greed. And the surrender has come in. That is GG to blue team.
Yes. So as we see 9-1, Lee Sin 504 severe. This was definitely their game.
They've done very well to survive. If you actually look at the damage dealt to champions, blue team actually didn't have to deal too much damage. They all kind of did a nice amount of damage. They're all rounding up around about average of about 12,500 damage for the most part. Whilst the damage on the red team is a little more spread out. So obviously, the peak of their damage being the Orianna. But once they were able to catch her out, this Lee Sin has done magnificently. Taking this Orianna after she's done as much damage as she can. People have been able to survive just thanks to a few spell shields and a few ultimates, which grant a nice amount of mobility. It's just they've been very good at surviving this blue team, kind of doing the long haul. They've been rotating around a lot, taking turrets where they can for free. Irelia has been a constant nuisance this game and has done very well, considering that a lot of people have been roaming top to gank her, and she's still come out of this game positive.
Yeah, so now we're slowly waiting for to get into team game 2